I think it's important as an artist to always kind of follow your heart. You know?
If I've learned anything over the past 6-7 years I've been doing this, it is follow my gut, follow my heart. Even if you're wrong, at least it was your decision. Because I've done the other version of that, and it's not a fun ride.
Yeah,
when it's someone else's gut.
And I think a lot of times both those things are at play
for sure
because you work with a team.
Yeah.
You know, you depend on your team. I mean, you work as hard as anybody I know, and I get that because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a new album coming out like you do, or a new single coming out, you know, you make these trips, you go visit with everybody,
sure.
you try and make sure everybody knows about it. But you can't do it by yourself.
No.
You know, so
when
you've got everybody on your shoulder whispering in your ear going, you got to do this, you got to do this, but you go, okay,
yeah,
this one's for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times they're right.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
So,
yeah.
And you know, there's always that thing with, if you're going, no, I don't, I'm not hearing that, but if y'all really believe this, you know, at least they're going to give it their best shot.
Sure.
But then if it doesn't work, you go, I told you.
Yeah. and that works both ways.
Yeah.
That works both ways every time.
So the next one's yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
all on you. I like your new single a lot. And
Thank you.
You've sort of found a groove that's, you know, that's in the current groove too. You know, I mean, there's obviously, I talk about it just being in the water and whatever. And I remember when I was just making a living writing songs,
mm-hmm.
people would go, well, that sounds like something, or that sounds like something. It's like, it all sounds like something. If you're a songwriter and you're also trying to figure out where the next little twist comes from.
Sure.
Because I don't know when you wrote that song, but do you try and think ahead a little bit? It's like, okay, here's what so-and-so just had a hit with, or this
Without
or that, but this is going to be yesterday by the time my record comes out. So
right.
What do we do that gets ahead of it? What?
You know, music is cool, and I think our taste buds for music change gradually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this ever-morphing kind of flavor. And for Good Girl, we wrote that song in February, and it just raised its hand and said, I wasn't writing to record a song. I wasn't even fathoming recording a song and putting it out. It just raised its hand and said, I need to come out this year. For whatever reason, the landscape of country music, in my mind, needed Good Girl this summer. And and it's thrown a wrench completely into what I thought the single releases were going to be.
Your schedule.
Right? At least in my brain. So here we are with this brand new song that feels like summer 2018 to me. And music's a funny thing. You know, it's this, like I said, it's this flavor that kind of morphs. And 1 year, Good Girl's the song, and maybe 2 years from now it wouldn't work. I don't know. Maybe it would. I'm not sure. But and then sometimes you have songs that you wrote. You know, I could think of songs I've written 7-8 years ago that I think would be hits now that absolutely were way left of field back then. So it's a funny thing. It's a great thing. It's a fun game, as you know.
Yeah, and it does swing back around again. I remember, gosh, even in as far back as the 80s when everybody was complaining about pop music and country,
sure,
you know?
Sure.
And here came Randy Travis and Ricky Skaggs and whatever. And, you know, it's cool. I'm hearing a lot of sort of retro sound and stuff now. And it's not even like Midland but Casey Musgraves and whatever, Miranda.
Yeah.
You know, I think about like Kerosene and the stuff she was doing when she first came out. And now she's kind of tweaked it back. It's like,
right.
Those things that we love, let's pull them back through the hole, you know? And it's kind of fun. And I think because of songs like Cowboys and Angels, you've sort of positioned yourself where you could do that.
And I've kept a common thread of having a few of those flavors on each album as we've gone on. We haven't released those,
right? But
they're there. And crazy enough, those songs have been written by myself and the same two guys. So believe it or not, last night at band rehearsals, we were talking about maybe bringing in one of those country elements that we haven't in the past couple tours. And then it hit me. I'm like, man, I got to bring Tim and Josh back out on the road. We got to write us some more country stuff. So it's great to have those folks you can lean on, and like you said, to have Cowboys and Angels already be our biggest hit, right out of the gate, that really got us going. I can always go back and get in that character again.
Yeah. You have an advantage that's pretty quirky, like you say. You want this record out now. And if I'm not mistaken, you kind of just almost did a pre-internet release of this song so people could get it. It was good for me. I just pushed a button, and as soon as I saw that, I go, let's listen to this thing. And it's kind of cool. Do you think, does that reaction really help you? Does it sort of prime the pump for what's coming, or would it ever really affect your decision once you've made it? Or
yeah, it would. Absolutely. Because it was such a knee-jerk kind of, we didn't expect this. I called my label and said, you're going to call me crazy, but I think we should just put this sucker out immediately. And they said, what the heck? It's 2018. Let's do it. Now, if we would have gotten a bunch of this stinks, we could have done a little.
What else you got?
Yeah, exactly. That's easy. No problem. But we haven't. And that's a good thing. Everybody's been loving on Good Girl in a great way, and everybody committed to it so early on, way before we were asking them to. It's a great sign.
It's a good summertime thing, and I know when you're out there on those fairs and festivals, what plays great in the studio and what plays great at home, and especially in the wintertime when you're sitting around the living room with your buds. Oh, I love that thing. And then you walk out on stage and you're like, oh man, let's skip that one.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to so-and-so, turn around and yell at the band one time.
That's right.
I've done that too. So it's fun to hit the stage with stuff that's popping and feeling good.
For sure.
You went to Australia?
I did. First time over in March. And this was right in the middle of recording Good Girl. We had done the music and flew to Australia, came back, and fought the worst battle of jet lag. But while in Australia, being my first trip, I expected them to know Small Town Boy. Because some things happened with my label to where we finally had a presence in Australia, and we could communicate with our team there, and they were saying, this is huge, this is being, we could see what it was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm going over there thinking I have one hit. Well, we land first show, and it's every song, every word, and people are going bananas. And we were just beside ourselves. We could not believe, wait, we've never set foot in this part of the world, and you guys are singing and screaming every word at us. And it was so unexpected. And on top of that, the vacation part of that trip of, exploring Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne and meeting all these new people and exploring new food and going to these great beaches. Man, what a tough job that is.
I know. It's an awesome country. I mean, to me, Melbourne and Brisbane are just like those. I'm sure you went to those big open markets where it's just this huge freaking parties going on like all the time. Mean, it's a wonder we ever made a show over there.
we were there for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, man.
We were in Brisbane for St. Patrick's Day and just walking around before we had to go to the festival.
They care about St. Patty over there.
Believe it or not, as Australians do, any excuse to have a cold beer, they're all in. So it was funny just being, just like, why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo in the States? Because we're good at drinking beer too.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
It was a great time, and I've met several folks that I keep in touch with. That I really embraced each other, and we've become good friends already.
Cool. Did when you were in Sydney, did you go to the Arboretum there?
No, I did. The one thing I had time to do was at the there's a bar outside the Opera House that looks at the bridge.
Well, you were close.
With the sun, and the sun sets down by the bridge, and it was just.
Well, the Arboretum's right behind there, and did you see the flying bats?
Yes,
the flying foxes.
And I didn't realize I'm going. Well, that's not a buzzard, because they're 3 feet wingspan, and I text my buddy
freaking flying
and
monkeys.
they're bats.
Yeah.
And
so you don't know where they're coming from.
They're all just, it was like fighter jets just going in right at dusk and I guess into the parks to eat fruit or bugs or wherever they're eating.
So you should have gone to the arbor. If you go back, go over there because it's like freaking Count Dracula. They are hanging up. What they do is these like persimmons are this fruit ferments itself.
Okay.
And these bats eat this fruit and they get drunk on this fruit. So they sleep it off all day long.
Yeah.
And when I first went over there, I went, what is it? And then I see what's hanging in the trees. It looked like giant moth, cocoons or something. Well, they're all wrapped up in their leather, you know?
Sure.
But some of them just fall out of the trees. They're wham, and they walk around on their little feet at the end of their deals, and we're like, Barbara and I are going, oh my God, we look around, there's hundreds of them, and they're all hanging in the trees.
I wouldn't run in the other direction.
Yes, so at night, we were staying at the Intercontinental, which is right behind there, you know, looking down on the Opry House, but we go up on the rooftop and have cocktails in the evenings and watch them take off. So I guess they'd sleep it off, they kind of sober up, and then they fly
Go get
across.
us some more.
They fly across the bay. I don't know where they go.
Sounds like some guys I know.
It's like wherever they party at night, and then they come back and they get high all day. They sleep it off for a few hours, and they go back to wherever they camp out at
Unreal.
night. I know, it's cool. Good stuff.
Very cool.
You've been touring with Paisley, I know. What's the summer tour look like?
Yeah, we're just doing the fairs and festivals, which we haven't got to do in a few years. You know, we've been out on big tours the last few years, and I kind of miss that atmosphere of pre-party and tailgate all day and all the smells that come with fairs, and you get the whole, it's a different vibe.
You gotta be careful, you'll lose that flat belly.
Exactly.
They're frying everything
exactly, no doubt. But I'm excited to get out there and play a full show too. We've been blessed to have enough hits now. We're in an opening slot. Yeah, all I can do is play hits, which is great, packs a punch. But I like to explore a little bit, play some stuff that we haven't been able to release. So I'm excited to do that this summer.
It's your time, Dustin. Go get it. Play the full pull.
I'm going to try.
All right, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Anytime.
Man.